Alright, it's been a full year since I published that video of me ranking watch brands, and boy oh boy did I get some heat for it. A lot of you guys were not happy with my choices, and by far the most heat I got was for calling Zenit a waste of money. Those Zenit fanboys came after me hard, and I didn't even know such a thing existed as a Zenit fanboy. Well, I was wrong. And it really surprised me to see how sensitive those Zenit fanboys are. I mean, this has to be rooted in some kind of insecurity, am I right? I mean, let's imagine I was trashing Patek Philippe here. Do you think the average Patek owner would give a shit about what I think about his watch? Don't think so. Zenit fanboys though, oh, they took it very seriously. But before I forget, my name's David, welcome to Watchcraft. I gotta say, before I did today's rankings, and by the way, we're gonna do it a little bit different today. There's not gonna be any more made up categories and tons of watch brands. I'm just gonna give you straight up my top 10 of watch brands. So, Zenit, I did some research about the company again. I looked into their history, the models they offer, the kind of watchmaking that goes into their movements, and after carefully considering where to place Zenit in my top 10, I decided that they are still not in my top ranking. Alright? Zenit, definitely not in my top 10. You fanboys, get over it, or if you want to curse me out, head to the comment section. I will be reading all of it, even if it's gonna hurt. But now, let's move on, alright? By the way, quick wristwatch check. Today I'm wearing the Cartier Santos. That's the large version with the blue dial and matching blue leather strap. So, top 10 watch brands. Let's start with number 10, A. Lange und Söhne. I mean, the finishing of the movements alone is gonna put them there. Even if the watches wouldn't function, I would still put them in my top 10. It's just crazy. If you ever have a chance to look at the A. Lange und Söhne close up, you're gonna ask yourself, how the hell are they doing this? The level of detail and beauty is just insane. Plus they have some very interesting and unique movements. The Zeitwerk comes to mind. And just package as a whole, including their design language, works very well. A. Lange und Söhne, definitely in my top 10. In spot number 9, we got a Japanese manufacturer. After the German one, now Japanese. Still no Swiss in there. We're talking about Seiko here, of course. And what I admire about Seiko the most is that they managed to churn out a mass production product. I mean, the watches, they aren't handmade luxury pieces. That's mass production. But they still managed to kind of keep the soul of mechanical watchmaking in there somewhere, if that makes any sense to you. Tons of models with rich history, the SKX, the Seiko 5, Turtles, and being priced so well, they offer an entry point for a lot of people into the world of mechanical watches. By the way, I'm also including Grand Seiko here. They are clearly high-end, but in my opinion, when it comes to expensive luxury watches, probably offer the best price-quality ratio there is available. Okay, spot number 8 goes to Hamilton, another affordable watchmaker. Quality-wise, they're clearly above Seiko, and I just think Hamilton has positioned themselves very well in this high-quality but affordable, rugged, utility sports watches with a decent amount of history in the company, and of course flawless execution being part of the Swatch Group. If you're looking for a non-pretentious straight shooting watch for everyday use that's not gonna break the bank, Hamilton is the way to go. Okay, place number 7 is getting a little bit more expensive now. Here I got Cartier. Cartier, in my opinion, is all about design. They have such a classy, timeless design language going through all their models. And they have so many iconic models which have gained that status by way of their extraordinary design. I'm talking about the Tank. I'm talking about the Santos. I'm talking about the Crash. So many icons of design in watchmaking come from Cartier. They are a bit loosey-goosey in my opinion with their usage of quartz movements. I would like to see more mechanical, but hey, when they put a mechanical movement in there, they have some great in-house movements that rival most other watchmakers. So Cartier, no brainer, gotta be in the top 10. Place number 6, Omega. Since the introduction of their famous tourbillon, Omega has proven time and time again that their level of precision when it comes to timekeeping is at the highest level. They have gotten expensive, but in my opinion, still offer a decent price to quality ratio when it comes to their steel pieces. I wouldn't go with the precious metal from Omega, but anyway, we got the Seamaster, including the James Bond watches, and most importantly, we got the Speedmaster line, one of the most recognizable watches in the world and the first ever watch on the moon. Plus, I think Omega is doing a really good job to walk that line between no-nonsense tool watch and luxury product. Alright, number 5 gotta be JLC, or if you're not afraid of mispronunciation, you can go with Jaeger LeCoultre. That was probably wrong, but anyway. JLC, watchmaker of watchmakers. In the past, many high-end watch brands that are considered to stand above JLC actually relied on JLC movements in their most prestigious models. So JLC, when it comes to movements, they really know what they're doing. They make some of the best, if not the best in the business. And if you're looking for a complicated dress watch, like an annual calendar, JLC makes some of the best and most affordable in that category. Plus, who could forget the famous Reverso line, one of the first ever sports watches. JLC deserves to be in the top 5. Alright people, only 4 more to go. And in place number 4, we got, surprisingly, Casio. That's right. Casio, for the most part, makes very inexpensive little plastic quartz watches that in no shape or form can be described as luxury timepieces, but still, in my top 10, Casio has to be in place number 4 at least. Now, people born after the year 1990 will probably not fully understand this, but for the rest of us, there is just so much memory and nostalgia attached to that brand. I mean, back in the 80s and 90s, Casio was just the way to go. Now, I'm not a big fan of the newer models, but the vintage line of Casio is just fantastic. I mean, let's talk about the design first. They just look cool. There are many ways to describe them. Minimalistic maybe, futuristic in a retro way, but in the end, they just look cool. And the best thing about the vintage line of Casio is you can walk into a store today and buy a 30 or 40-year-old watch brand new. Those watches remained unchanged. It's like there's an endless supply of new old stock. So, we're getting into the medal ranks. And coming in spot number 3, Rolex. For many people, Rolex is king. The brand has become a synonym for luxury watchmaking. It might have become too commercial for the watch snobs out there. Too many people wear them. Not exclusive anymore. But do they make some great watches? Daytona, Submariner, Day-Date, Explorer. So many iconic models. And you know what? It's never hit and miss with them. Their design language, their design evolution is so well thought out that it just keeps on working. And this is a very important part when it comes to design. Continuity. Maybe be a bit boring at times, but stay true to yourself. And that's what Rolex does very well. Plus, sometimes I like to describe a watch as kind of a vessel, right? Like a vessel for a memory. If you have reached an important milestone in your life, you can reward yourself by buying a luxury watch. And in doing so, you're taking that watch as a vessel and you put your memory of that milestone, of that moment in there. Sorry about the gesturing. I'm really talking about watches here. And Rolex still, how should I put this? Rolex provides the best vessel. That's why Rolex has to be in my top 3. Okay, it's getting interesting now. Place number 2. Silver medal goes to F.P. Journe. I know, that's a surprise for most of you. You probably expected Audemars Piguet up there or something like that. But F.P. Journe, for me, kind of checks all the boxes you would look for in a luxury watch brand. Relatively small, not a mass product. owned and run by the founder, Monsieur Journe, who arguably is one of the best watchmakers in history. They have top-notch execution in their timepieces, manufactured with a lot of handwork to the highest of standards, beautiful movement finishing, and have some of the most interesting movements out there. I mean, look at the chronomètre à résonance. This is a watch that houses two movements that are syncing up with each other without even being mechanically connected, just by feeling the vibrations of each other while being in very close proximity. This is a fantastic movement. But what stands out for me the most is just the design of F.P. Journe watches. I cannot put a finger on it why, but looking at those watches, I cannot come up with a more elegant watch brand than F.P. Journe. That's why I'm placing them this high. Okay, finally it's time for the top dog. Number 1 in the rankings. My favorite watch brand, Patek Philippe. Now, Patek Philippe for me is the definition of a luxury watchmaker. They have a very rich history, still family owned. Their pieces are a perfect display of what real craftsmanship in the watch industry should look like. That has a lot to do with the design as well. But for me, Patek mainly stands for high-level luxury craftsmanship going into timepieces. Maybe that's all just in my head, put in there by the Patek Philippe marketing department, but holding one just makes it feel like there's something special. Now, they are really, really expensive, don't get me wrong. And to be honest, I'm not sure if they're worth the money. I'm not sure if any of the luxury watchmakers are worth the exorbitant amounts they're asking for their pieces. But with a Patek Philippe, at least I'm thinking, man, I want to pay it anyway. So that's it for today, friends. If you don't want to miss the next episode, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you then. Have a good one.